Hi, I'm Angela from 𝗦𝗡𝗄𝗧.com and I make healing crystal jewellery. Today I'm going to be talking about a very popular subject, and that's shungite and its healing properties. If that's the type of video that you do like to see, please do click the like and subscribe button below. And if you're watching me over on IGTV, pop me a follow on my @𝗦𝗡𝗄𝗧 account. That would be great. Thank you very much. So we have shungite. So it's a very dark black matte stone when it's in its raw form, and this is raw shungite. And basically when it's in its raw form, and also I'm wearing some today as well, that's why I wrapped. When it's in its raw form, it does sometimes shed as well. I've actually coated this in oil, so it's not too bad, but when you first get it, it will shed if you just buy raw, I don't know, from eBay or wherever you're going to buy. So I wanted to get out of the way about the quality of shungite and the different ones available. It comes from Russia. All shungite comes from Russia at the moment, and the main source and the original source was from Karelia in Russia, and it was a lake, 𝗪𝗪, hence the name shungite. And that type of shungite is up to 80% carbon, so it's much greater percentage of carbon than other types of shungite. Now you can also find shungite in Kazakhstan and in Caucasus, and they have a lot lower carbon levels. Now the high carbon content does give it a very unusual property that it actually conducts electricity. So it's quite an interesting property, and that's because of these very high carbon levels, up to 80% carbon, that it will allow it to conduct electricity. The lower carbon level ones, they do not conduct electricity because they have lower carbon content, but they are still shungite and they do still have healing properties. Generally, it is considered to be 2 billion years old. It is one of the oldest stones that you can find. It's thought that it was actually formed before life on Earth. And it's got quite some unusual properties. As I've already mentioned, it conducts electricity when it's got a very high carbon percentage. The other property that it's got, which is quite interesting, is it one of the only minerals that contains fullerenes, or it's been proved to contain fullerenes. Now fullerenes is a specific type of carbon atom. I won't go into all the chemical properties of it because you know my background as a biochemist, but it is linked to quite powerful healing properties. There's been quite a few studies where they've used these fullerenes in studies with animals, and it's been linked to antioxidant properties. It's been linked to increased longevity and increased immune system. In Russia, they used shungite before everyone else to actually purify their water. Because it contains these fullerenes, there's the theory that this actually increased healing and detoxification properties of the water, which is quite interesting. So it sort of depends on what you're going to be using your stones for, whether you want the higher purity of carbon. So I would suggest, if you are using it to purify your water, you would be getting shungite from Karelia, because it's got that high carbon content. Another thing, which is one of the main things that people are interested in shungite for, and that is for its EMF radiation protection properties. It is said to block radiation. Now I have been doing some experiments. I've got an EMF reader, and I have both the low carbon content shungite, and I also have the high carbon content from Karelia, and I've been doing comparisons to see which has the higher blocking of EMF and you would have thought it would be the higher carbon that would block it. It's the low carbon that actually blocks the EMF radiation more. So it's quite interesting. If you're looking for it to block EMF, from what I've done with my experiments, I would say the Kazakhstan shungite is better. And if you're wanting for purification of water, I would suggest that the 𝗦𝗨𝗣𝗣𝗢𝗔𝗦𝗡 shungite is better. But it all depends on what you're going to be using this for. But if you're going to be using it in jewellery, they both block EMF radiation very, very well. I'm going to be doing a video later. I will compare the two types of shungite and their EMF blocking properties, because I just think it's really interesting, because people think that because if it doesn't conduct electricity, then it's fake and it's not shungite, and this simply isn't true. It just means that it hasn't got that high carbon content, but the EMF properties, blocking properties, seems to be intact, and I do wonder whether that is to do with the fullerenes in it. But without having a chemical test, I won't be able to tell that, but it's just a theory. It's quite interesting. Going on to some more of the more metaphysical side of shungite, it's supposed to be a really calming stone. Now, when I hold shungite, to me personally, it feels really grounding. It feels as though it's connecting you back to earth. It's not going to react to everyone that way. We'll all have our unique feelings when we touch stones, and that's because we all have different needs. But for me personally, I find it very grounding. I feel as though it's pulling my energy back down towards earth. So it's very good if you're in your mind all the time. And I think that's why it's a very calming stone. It's said to help with insomnia, which obviously, if you're in your brain all the time, in your mind, and over worrying and overthinking things, bringing the energy back down towards earth and towards your feet will bring you back out of your mind. It's a really good stone for bringing you back out of that overthinking, horrible, circular thoughts that a lot of people have. On that same note, it helps with stress and anxiety. Obviously, if you're not sensitive to energy, then you can easily block things, I think. So it's not going to work for everyone, but at the end of the day, it's not going to harm. So give it a try. I'd suggest wearing it if you're suffering from anxiety and stress throughout the day. And if it's insomnia, I suggest wearing something at night or popping it under your pillow. So if, for instance, you've got a necklace like this, I would wear this during the day, and you can just pop it underneath your pillow at night to help with insomnia and calm things down. Now, some people, they are quite sensitive to energies, and so they might find they have strange dreams. So just monitor it. If you find that your dreams are really becoming active with when you have the stone underneath your pillow, then you can just remove it. But just remember that you have that stone underneath your pillow, and then it may affect your dreams. And if you find that it's a bit negative, then just remove it. I've personally not found it's had any effect on dreams. It helps actually to bring around dreams which are a bit more calming, a bit more healing. So I do think it's very good for sleeping with underneath your pillow. Another thing which is quite interesting, it is reported to help with pain. Now, I've not experimented with shungite and pain, and I think it would depend on where your pain comes from. I would suspect, I don't know because I've not tested shungite for this, I would suspect muscular pain would be helpful with shungite. And the reason I say that is muscular pain tends to be linked to being very uptight and your muscles having like cramping up. And I would have thought that a grounding stone that brings your energy down will help to reduce pain because it helps to relax the muscles. Again, it's something to experiment with, and if you've at that stage where you've been to the doctors and nothing's helping, it's worth a try, isn't it? Other properties, and it's sort of linked back in with all their the water purifying and the antioxidant properties, is it's linked to purifying us. So not only would it purify water, it's believed that it will purify the body and it will protect the body. Now, that protection, is that linked to this EMF blocking radiation, and it's all got mixed up into the metaphysical side of it? It's an interesting thought, isn't it? It's also linked to balancing us, and I think that's very much to do with the way it affects our energy. As I say, it brings the energy down, very calming, connects us to earth energy. This isn't in the books, it's just what I felt when I actually hold the stone and wear the stone. I just feel as though it really weighs down your energy so that you're not so much in your brain. It's really nice feeling to get out of your mind sometimes. So if you're that type of uptight person that is always overthinking, has always got things going on in their mind, always second guessing things, I think Shungite's a pretty good stone to help with that type of energy problems. As with everything, do not use this by itself. It's not instead of medical help, it's inclusive of. So it's getting an all-round feeling and holistic approach to your healing, and to take responsibility for ourselves. So I hope you enjoyed that. It's a very interesting stone. It's got quite a great history. If you did enjoy it, please do click the like and subscribe button. I'll be doing a healing hopefully next week of this, and it will be a Reiki healing where I use the stone to direct its healing energies to you, and a little guided meditation with it. So please do stick around and come back for that. I hope you have a lovely day, and I'll see you next time. Thanks ever so much for watching. Bye.